What's up, y'all? It's been a while. It's Jay here, your accountability coach, and ghetto psychologist, and it is my life's purpose to help Black people navigate this patriarchal system of white supremacy. On this channel, you might see me talk about celebrities, world news, personal development, you name it. I'm here, like I said, to help Black people navigate the world as we know it and as we see it, which is a patriarchy, meaning that men run the world full of white supremacy. Let's not forget who's the ones in powers. So, I got a lot to talk about today. A lot has been going on. I took a little mini hiatus, if you will, to just really disconnect. The further I disconnect from social media, the more I tap into myself. But I had to take a little break because I was just like, I'm getting a little overwhelmed. There's a lot going on in my life. A lot of exciting things though. Many changes. Gonna be very busy in the month of October, December, January, February, and March. What is that, 6 months? So for the next 6 months, it's really gonna be grind time for me. I'm gonna try my best to be consistent with content. I think, to be honest, the only content I'm really gonna be consistent with is YouTube. These long form videos, I just do them, get them out of the way, and go. Sure, it takes nothing for me to just whip my camera out and say something. But same token, I'm gonna be busy. So I'm gonna be working 6 days a week. When I get home, I'm likely not even gonna care about filming a short form video. We'll see how it goes, but lately I've been kind of just not into it. Not for any reason besides just being busy in my personal life and my other professional endeavors. And I never want anybody to see my content or see this video and think that it means I'm going to stop. I've never stopped. And you can see I might slow down, might take a break. It might even be a long break, but I always come back. Only death. So, that being said, enough about me. We got a lot to talk about today. I don't even know where to start. I'm just going to run down everything we're going to talk about. Carisha, please. Yes, please, Young Miami and Diddy, of course, Nick Cannon, Cardi B, JT, Tylenol, Jimmy Kimmel. If you don't know what's going on in the world, you're probably like, how the hell all of this? What is all of that, right? It's not relevant to each other, but it's just the world news that I want to talk about and offer some perspective from a Black ghetto psychologist, a Black accountability coach. And since talking about accountability, I guess I'm gonna start with Cardi B. So I made a full video about Nicki Minaj and how Nicki Minaj is pretty much putting the nail in the coffin of her just legacy, in my opinion. In my opinion. But I don't let's talk about Cardi B. I said this years ago on Facebook that Cardi B and Nicki Minaj are not that different from each other. They're both pick meaning that they perform for the male gaze, even if they trick themselves into believing they're not. They're very male centered in a certain type of way. The difference is Cardi B is just not a hater. At least she's not a hater when it comes to sharing spotlight. Like she knows that her star shines by itself in its own right. Nicki is intimidated by other people's shine. Even though her shine, she got to shine, right? But she's intimidated by other people's shine. And nobody can argue me down as a psychologist, as people who studies human behavior professionally, regarded as an expert in the field because of the credentials that I do have. She definitely is a hater who is just not completely satisfied with herself. And it shows in her actions. So let's talk about Cardi B. Like I said, Cardi B is not that different to me. Um, One thing I did not like about this whole little Cardi B fiasco, um, and we're gonna get into what I do like about Cardi B because I like more about her than I dislike. Nicki Minaj just turned into a totally different thing where I dislike more about her than I do like. And I don't know these people. So could have meet them tomorrow and it might be different from whatever the fuck I'm thinking. But first impressions, and as a celebrity, they give us first impressions, multiple impressions actually. We have to formulate some kind of opinion. I'll judge nobody from a space of thinking I'm better than anybody because I know I'm not whatsoever. I'll spill all my tea on the floor, let y'all know I'm not better than none of y'all. But I might think better than y'all. I might love better than y'all. Anyway, so Cardi B, and it seems like Cardi B is so distrusting that every time she has some kind of close relationship with someone, she has to keep receipts. She's one of those people who she will collect ammo on you. I don't want to say in hopes of using it, because I don't think she hopes she has to use it, but just in case. She's that distrustful, and I can't particularly blame her because I don't know all of her experiences. People do seem to stab her in the back, especially starting with a damn husband, soon be ex. I'm gonna talk about him too. But I don't like that. I don't like when people feel like they have to collect dirt on people that they're close with in order to, I don't know, have leverage in case they fall out with them. I don't like that. Um, what else I don't like? I don't like that she moved this fast. So let me preface with this. I'm not the type of person to ever tell a woman to have an abortion. I'm pro-choice still, not pro-abortion. Some of y'all are pro-abortion and think that you're pro-choice. Those are two different things. I'm not here telling people to go not have babies. I am here to support you if that's your choice. But I do have my own personal opinions about it. To which I think I've talked about this on the channel. I do not believe that abortion should be a way of, what's the word I'm looking for? It should not be used as contraception. And a lot of women I find use abortion as contraception instead of just using a condom. Instead of just using birth control, they use abortion. And it's really unfair. It's unfair to the system because it's kind of abusive to me. And it's also unfair to your body. Even if you don't give a fuck about your body, someone does. So you need to, and you'll give a fuck when you realize you can't use a part of you. Quick sidebar: if you have too many abortions, you can become barren. And what a lot of people think is, oh, well, I don't want any kids anyway, so I'll become barren. It's not gonna bother me. And then it happens, and you realize, oh, all choice I had about this, if I wanted kids or not, is taken away from me. Sure, granted, I did want to not have children, but now I really can't, even if I change my mind. So keep that in mind that when you're using abortion as a contraception, that's something that could happen. So I don't believe that. So I'm not here to tell Cardi that she shouldn't have her baby. I'm here to tell Cardi that she should have done everything she could to keep that baby from being conceived. That's just my opinion. Yeah, everybody want to say, well, she got the money. She got the money. Let me tell you something that I noticed that a lot of women who have, and I'm going to talk about the Nick Cannons too. That's why he's on the docket. But the women who have multiple babies and multiple baby daddies, again, I'm not here to judge you because I already have one baby daddy. If I had another baby, it would be by another man. So I would have multiple baby daddies. So I don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to anything surrounding how many baby daddies you got. That's not what's important to me. What's important is this. People will try to make you feel as though you're in the wrong for having an opinion about people reproducing, bringing children into the world under unsafe or unintelligent circumstances. And yes, Cardi loves this baby. Maybe the baby was created in love. I'm not here to say it wasn't. But I do believe that that baby is coming into an unfavorable circumstance. That's just, again, my opinion outside looking in. Forgive me, Lord, if I'm overstepping my boundaries for having an opinion. I'm just a little old bit. But again, I am an accountability coach, so I want people to understand the ways in which you can be more accountable to your life and the results that can happen have more foresight and consequential thinking. I could be wrong about what I think is going to happen to Cardi B. And again, I say this all the time. I hope I am wrong. Just like what I said about Nicki Minaj. I hope I'm wrong about the predictions that I have with these people, but typically I'm not. Because again, I study human behavior and I see these things, I pay attention, I recognize patterns. It's just how my brain works. So Cardi B went and she's pregnant while still being married to Offset, while having a baby who just turned 1. She's gonna have 2 babies in diapers. Again, no judgment, but she went and had a baby in the middle of a divorce with another man. And people, like I was saying, will tell you, especially women, I see women say this more than men. Men have their own way of saying the same thing, but women say this pretty much verbatim. Why are people worried about how many kids I have? You ain't got to take care of them. Baby, you right. Damn sure right. Because if I did have to take care of them, I'd be in your ass. And because I don't have to take care of them, I'm still going to have an opinion that's still going to be a little bit on your ass. It's just going to be a little like tap. But if we was friends, like really close friends, and I was helping you take care of your children, I would be on it. Again, the key word is if I was helping you take care of your kids. Because I got friends who I don't have to help take care of their kids. They can go have as many kids as they want to. I'm not gonna say a damn thing. Unless they ask me my opinion. But and again, like I said, that is a true thing. I'm not gonna have to help Cardi take care of her children. What men say in response is that, oh, she got the money to take care of them, or they say them about themselves. The men, of course, they're gonna judge Cardi for it because double standards. But the men who would judge are going to be the ones who say, well, she got the money to take care of them, shit. Because they say that about themselves when they be reckless with their reproduction. There is a such thing as reckless reproduction. There is a such thing as just being very, what's the word, irresponsible reproduction. It is such a thing as that. Because you have to make sure that you bring your children into, if you can help it, you bring your children into an environment that's going to facilitate a well-rounded human being. You have to try to have the foresight to see those things. I was not one of those people when I had my child, but today I am. That's why I haven't had another one, because I would be crazy under the conditions that I had experienced. And even the condition I'm in right now, I can't have a baby. Well, then again, in 9 months I should be cool, but I was like a year. So, anyway, she wouldn't have this baby. She's going to have this baby, I should say, with Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is just a quieter Offset. And people will be like, what the fuck that mean? He is still a ladies' man. He's a man who was young. He's Black. This is a perfect segue. He's young, he's Black, he's famous. Even if he was used to getting women, now he has access to women that he never had access to before. He has money that he never had access to before. He gets to see things that he never was able to see before. So it's like a kid in the candy store. So it's not going to be surprising if he keep coming out every year with a new pregnancy. And this is the thing that's daunting and scary to me when it comes to Cardi B. This is the same pattern that she fell into with Offset, minus having the baby. She just got married fast. Now you're having a baby fast. It's not that. It's different, but it's not a huge difference because you're still tied to this person for the rest of your life. For the rest of my life, even though I might not ever see my baby daddy again, it'll always be a known fact to some people that I am his baby mom, that I had a baby for him, by him. So same thing, of course, happens with her and Offset, but that's not the problem because again, at least she was married, right? We can at least say that. Yeah, even though it didn't matter that much, but at least you can say that. But with Stefan, she's definitely not there. I don't think they're gonna get married. God, I hope I'm wrong. Prove me wrong. I do want to be wrong about certain stuff like this. I want people to flourish. But sometimes I can't recognize, I mean, I can't ignore what is easily recognizable or what my conscience tells me, what my intuition tells me, even if it's about somebody else. Right? People do this all the time. There's plenty of readers, energy readers, card readers, tarot readers, whatever, spiritualists, who will look at somebody's situation and not necessarily form an opinion because they are forming it out of malice or they're forming it because they just formed it. Something really comes over you and you're like, I don't like that. I don't think they should have did that because something's telling me it's not gonna work out. And that's what I'm feeling when it comes to her and Stefan. I don't think that they're gonna work out as a couple. I think they're gonna co-parent well. I don't think it's gonna be a toxic breakup as it is with her and Offset. Because I think Stefan might be a little bit cooler. Like I said, he's a little bit quieter. That's it. But I don't see it working out because I don't think that he's gonna stop doing what he does. And I think that because of the attention that Cardi has, he's not used to that. Yeah, he gets more attention because he's still a celebrity. But because he is connected to Cardi, he's got way more attention than we've ever seen before on a social front, on a celebrity front. I didn't know really who the fuck he was. I mean, I heard his name, but I didn't know who he was till he dated Cardi. She's elevating him socially. But same token, I think Cardi gets more love than hate, but people still hate. So there are gonna be so many people coming out trying to break them up. So many people coming out trying to prove to him that Cardi's not good enough, or vice versa. So when you have a man who has all these babies coming at the same time, just like Nick Cannon, it gets into this point that I'm about to make when it comes to Black people and our breeding mindset, which I believe I talked about before on this channel. There's a breeding mindset that we have that came from being enslaved, that it's a pathology that was passed down to where we feel like we resort to bringing children in the world in order to replace love that we're missing. And I don't think it's just Black people who do that, but I think because Black people are so disproportionately, I just disproportionately taken from shit. There's so many different words I can just interchange with that. But because we've been so disproportionately just ostracized, taken from, stolen from, just diminished, damn right, just chewed up and spit out, right? We cling to the love that we can create, which back again, like I said, when we were enslaved, which was, hey, I want to cling to my husband who, I just so happen to come on this plantation and just meet. But in a normal everyday setting, I don't know if I would have ever met this man or married him. But because I have this person and they're right here is proximity. I don't know what we have in common because I barely know myself. I just know that we are enslaved. And there's some things that I know about myself that I like and some things about him that I like. We're going to just make it work because hope. And when you're in a lot of hope, that makes love even more sweet to you because it's like, this is the best thing that I have right now. When we were enslaved, when our ancestors were enslaved, when Black people, when I say we, I'm talking about we as Black people as a culture, were enslaved. The hope of our marriages and our love, our Black love, is what really kept us together a lot of the time. Now, you got to keep in mind that that was not always the case, that there were literally farms and plantations where men and women were forced to breed, forced to have sex with each other and reproduce. And it's it's a common thread, it's a mindset where I'm going to cling to love with someone even if I don't really know enough about him, even if I don't know if we have enough in common, I don't really know myself, but I know I love them. So let's get together. And then you find out, oh, this is not conducive to a healthy relationship or what I want in a relationship. Hell, you didn't even know what you want into a relationship, but you knew what you don't, and you know what you don't want after being with this person. That's how our relationships work. We just made it work. And then you got the people who just were arranged to be together. So they just had sex and bread because that was all they could do. And somewhat the pleasure of that, even though it wasn't necessarily pleasure because you were forced, but sex is still can be a pleasure or a horrible act, even if you don't want it, even if you don't consent, it can still feel good to you. So we hung on to that. I want y'all to understand. I hope somebody is really paying attention to how I'm weaving this together. So we held on to that pathology. Of course, it's not all of us. Yes, blah blah blah. I hear you naysayers in the back, but I'm talking about the general pathology. So you got Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon went on the Breakfast Club sometime this week or last week. I don't know. I have not seen the entire interview. Honestly, I saw parts of it, and then I'm getting most of my information from one of the previous videos on Keto Rose's podcast. Go check out her video. And a lot of what she said, I agree with, but I'm gonna put my own twist on it. The breeding mindset of Black people, not just Black men. You might see it more in Black men, right? Statistically, you're going to see it more from Black men. Let me not say might. You do. Statistically, you do. But it's Black people because Black women are still laying down and having these babies with Black men without doing the proper research, the proper vetting. And that's okay because we don't know any better, but down here holding you accountable still. It doesn't matter if you didn't know any better, right? It never really matters if you don't know any better, right? It's you get grace for that, but it doesn't change the outcome. Just because you didn't know it was gonna rain today doesn't mean you should have left your umbrella at home. You should have left it in your car as you normally do, but you took it out. You didn't know it was gonna rain. Guess what? You got wet. It's the same concept. You still got wet. So when it come down to it, we gotta stop thinking down there with our cooters and our peeners and start thinking with our hearts and our minds. And it's hard when you are in the depth of trauma. Sure, you might look at somebody like Nick Cannon and say, what trauma, excuse me, but what trauma could he experience? He's basically been rich his entire life, right? He's been famous his entire life. He's had this, he's had that. Anybody can name off any reason for which he should not have trauma. Y'all do that all the time to people. But he is someone who's experienced his own version of trauma. And I talked about there's different levels to trauma, and it's based on the person. Divorce is traumatic for anybody. And before I get ahead of myself, Nick Cannon said he basically had all of his children out of trauma. So put a pin in that. And divorce is traumatic for anybody, right? He had a traumatic experience with his wife, Mariah Carey. And if you were around when that relationship went public, when that marriage happened, people was like Mariah and Nick, not in a way that diminished her, but in a way that diminished him. Because it was like, why the fuck she with him, right? It was like, first of all, he's young. That was one part of it. And then it was like, the second part is he's goofy, right? He's corny. He's this. These are all the things that people were saying. I'm not saying I agree. I'm just saying what people were saying at that time. And imagine if you are a man, a young man, because Nick's, again, fairly young. I don't know how old. Let me see. I want to see how old he was when he married her. I should have just asked my phone. Let's see. Hey Siri, how old was Nick Cannon when he married Mariah Carey?
Here's an answer from fandom.com.
27. He was 27. He was 20 when he married her. Not when he started dating, but when he married her. Keep that in mind. So you got this young man who is essentially marrying an icon, right? Who's a woman. And everybody's questioning why, right? Why would she marry him? Who is he to her? What do they have in common? What's going on? And imagine you are this young man, and as a man, your value comes from how people perceive you. Yes, women have that same quote unquote value. We all do, but it's how people perceive you based on the woman that you get or women that you get and the money you make and how you certain ways you maneuver in the world. But money and women is the baseline when it comes to manhood in this patriarchal society. So when people are telling you you're not good enough for the woman that you have, that makes you feel like less of a man. Period. I don't have to be a man to know that. And if a man is watching this and you know that what I'm saying is true, you agree with me. Tell me I'm right. So the other people who try to think that I'm wrong will tell you that I'm right. Anyway, so he feels away. And he probably went through that relationship consistently, probably overcompensating, overperforming, or it's either he was doing that or he might have been doing two things. He might have been doing that and also at the same time maybe trying to diminish Mariah Carey and who she is because it would make him and his narcissistic personality disorder that he's been diagnosed with make him feel better as a person, as a man. So we don't know exactly how their relationship went. We don't know what was the breakdown. I don't really have to know. Again, it's one of those two things. I believe he probably was diminishing her in some kind of way. It might not have been like a blatant thing, but because everybody made it seem like he was not good enough to be with her, why not make her feel bad about people thinking that he's not good enough? That's the closest thing, excuse me, that he can take it out on. So there's this thing with black men, black women as well, but Nick Cannon's a black man, where, like I said earlier, we resort to reproductive irresponsibility when we feel undervalued and unloved. We know that children love. Children come out the womb most of the time, 99.9% of the time. Children are coming out the womb as an embodiment of love. They don't hate anybody. They don't dislike anybody. They don't hate, right? So when you know that, you go and you have these children because you want that love. But the task is not for children to love you because that's easy. The task is for you to love your child unconditionally because you're the adult, you're the one who's been tainted. It's for you to learn to do that. And when you are bringing them, first step to making sure you love your child unconditionally is to make sure before you even conceive that you are in a position to where if you did conceive, right, if you're going to go through with the act of conception, meaning having sex without a condom, having sex with a woman you barely met, you barely know, I mean, having sex with a woman who don't take birth control, all these things, right? I'm just saying it from the masculine point of view because I'm talking about Nick Cannon. When you just going out here being reckless with your dick, that's not showing that you love your children. To me, like that's not you've already failed the first step. I failed the first step, but there's other steps, right? So we can't just stay stuck on that first step. Once you realize, okay, I fucked up there, boom. Same thing with Cardi. Going back to her. She fucked up. I don't care what nobody says. She fucked up. She should not have got pregnant in the midst of a divorce this soon after dating this man. You just met this man. It ain't even been a year. And you pregnant with his baby. You fucked up, bitch. Don't give a fuck. It might not turn out fucked up in the end, but the optics, you fucked up. So it's just admitting it. That's the accountability piece. Now you're like, okay, well, what can I do to stop what I don't want to happen from happening? Granted, it might still happen because I don't have full control. But what can I do to diminish the blow that may land? These are things we have to understand. Having consequential thinking. And one of the most important areas of your life to have consequential thinking about is your reproduction. Your who you have a baby with, when you have the baby. Those are very important things. Because you can't control those things. Despite what the fuck y'all trick yourself into believing, you can control when you have a baby, male or female. There's so many people I know who don't want kids and they don't have them. They are doing and did everything they could to not have them. There's no excuse for you people who, oh, I didn't want kids or I didn't want to get pregnant. So you get nothing to not get pregnant. I've had this conversation with somebody close to me before. You tell me you didn't want to get pregnant, but you didn't use protection. You're not on birth control. Am I missing something here? Like I be scratching my head because I'm like, bitch, y'all know me. These are people who know me, right? They know me. I ain't had no baby without wanting to have no baby. Even when even in a few times I've had a pregnancy scare once I got older, it was because I didn't care if I had a baby because I felt like I was in a position where I could. You feel me? That's the difference. But I'm not having no baby if I don't want to have no baby. I'm gonna do everything I can to stop it from happening. So when you don't, I just take that to mean because you didn't want to. So I'm sorry, y'all got a message. Oh, I'm so sick of this. Where these people get my phone number? I thought I confirmed this appointment. I did. So why in the fuck are they texting me? Girl, they're calling me. Anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. So this is a really deep thing. Like I said, when it comes to black people, black women, and I'm gonna talk about this even with Cardi, and I just talked about it with Nick. So just again to bring it to Cardi because Cardi is going to be, if she don't slow down, she might be like Nick Cannon. She might be one of those people who every time or Summer Walker, but then again, Summer Walker has finally stopped giving every nigga that she likes a boyfriend. I mean, a baby. So she's done. But just please don't take me too serious. But I don't want Cardi to be like that. I don't want her to be the female version of these futures, the female version of these Nick Cannons, the female version of these young thugs. Because you went through something traumatic and all of a sudden all you want to do is just go on this create love, spread love spree. But you're only doing that out of trauma because you're trying to replace love that you should have for yourself with love from other people. And then when you keep doing it over and over again, you're like, oh my God, the love I'm looking for is still missing. Actually, I feel more depleted because those people who you created to love you, they need the love from you back. They need it reciprocated. Actually, when they're young, they need it a little bit more. So now you're not even going to get that love. And then you have the responsibility of pouring love into this being that you didn't even have from the fucking first place. This is the story of many Black parents. So many people go and have babies just to have them. Y'all have no intention, no basis. Me neither. I didn't have one. Besides, like I said, I was one of those people. Had a baby out of love. I wanted the love. It was the love. Something to love me back. Where is the love? Right? That was it. I'll tell y'all the truth. I hold accountability. I have it. Plenty. I have so much accountability. People get mad at me when they say something about me, and I'm like, you're right, but don't change the fact that you such and such and such such. We get upset because I own whoever the fuck I am or whoever the fuck you think I am. I'm not here to change your opinion to me. I don't care, right? But when you're right, I will admit to you You're right. Because I'm very also self-aware. So when you become accountable to those things, knowing that, oh, I had a baby and I had no reason for having no baby. I just had, besides me just wanting love and to love something back. I didn't have the money. It was not a favorable circumstance. I failed step one, right? I did not bring my child into a favorable circumstance. I can admit it. Can you? Some of y'all got multiple and you did it every time. Can you admit it? They here now, ain't nothing to do about it. You can't change it. But you can at least create an environment to which they don't have as much trauma because they came through your birth canal during an unfavorable time that you created, likely. Having that many children with all these different baby mamas in different households, right? That's what's going to be different. That's always what's different when it comes to Black women, because Black women are typically the primary custodial parents, so they have the children, so they can create a better environment. However, the trauma is still there. It's not really diminished. And the mama a lot of times is going to project her own trauma onto her children because of the fact that she brought those children into an unfavorable circumstance. It could be she had a bad baby daddy. It could be she broke. It could be maybe they are in a relationship. Maybe his mom and dad are there. But just because it's two parents doesn't make it favorable, does it? They both could just be going through a toxic part in their relationship. Whatever the case may be, right? It is up to us once those babies are here to create a situation that is going to combat the unfavorable circumstance that they were born into. That might mean you have to leave your relationship with their mother or their father. That might mean you have to move out of state. There's so many things that might mean for you. Only you can determine, but we got to do that. And that's the main thing that has to happen as Black parents when we are reproductively irresponsible due to a trauma response, which I feel like a lot of us are, people that I love and they're dear to me. I feel like it's people that I know who said they would never have kids and they got multiples. I feel like it's a trauma response. How do you go against yourself like that? So, moving on. I feel like I touched enough on that because I've talked about this before. I don't want to be long-winded about the same thing. So we're gonna move on to the next topic. So we talked about Cardi, Nick Cannon, and breeding mindset. Let's talk about her album, Liner News. My girl snapped. Okay, first of all, like I said, there's so many things that I like about Cardi B. I talked about what I don't like. I wish her the best of luck. I hope her and Stefan do work out and they have a wonderful, amazing family. It's just I don't feel like it's gonna happen. Just recognizing the patterns. I want to be wrong. God forgive me if I am wrong. God forgive me. And God knows I'm not coming from a place of malice. I want everything to work out for her. But I love her music and I love her personality. And anybody who does not like Cardi B's personality, I feel like they probably just don't have one. I'm not here to say I agree with everything that she says. I'm not here to say I agree with everything she does. There's not a person on the planet who I do agree with everything they say or do. Never will be. I don't even do it with me all the time. So fuck yeah, right? But I like her. I feel like Cardi would be not somebody I would be friends with because, like I said earlier, I'm very finicky about my friends. But she's definitely somebody I would be associated with. We could work together, we can get money together. I wouldn't let her around my man that often, and I wouldn't want to be around her baby because I don't want her to don't accuse me of shit because your nigga might look, because niggas look. A lot of y'all might look at me and be like, girl, please. First of all, the face card ain't never been ugly. That's number one. The body is still tea. I don't let y'all see all of that. Right? Body is tea. And then I got an aura. I want y'all to understand I have something that draws people into me in real life. So I want to be friends with somebody like Cardi. We could be associates, we can hang out, we can get money together, but there's certain things I know I wouldn't be able to trust. But I love this album. It's only maybe like 2 songs that I might skip or just tune out when it's on, but the album really is no skips. Now I don't be listening to the songs that's on the radio because they be on the radio. I'm not listening to WAP and Up. It's overdone. You can't pay me to listen to it again. Well, you might pay me, but I'm not doing it on my own. Right? WAP, Up, and even outside. I skip outside some of the time just because again, I've heard it a million and million times on goddamn the radio everywhere else. But this album is really litty, really, really litty. Um, and I like how it feels. I want to say this about Cardi, it's a slight criticism, and I don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing, because I don't take a position either way. I just think it's something that I noticed. Cardi's a very chameleon when it comes to how she raps, like her rap style, her rap flow. When I listen to this album, of course, I think she's doing this on purpose. So that's why I'm saying it's not a bad thing. But she does it. I can hear the Offset's influence. I can hear um Project Pat. I can hear, of course, Jay-Z. I can hear a little Doja Cat. I can hear a little Doechii. I hear the influence, right? I might be missing some people too. But it doesn't change that this is a great body of work. You can't listen to it all the way through. Period. And that's my example of a no skip song album. I mean, is if it's just 2 songs on there that you just be like, I don't care for, but you can still tolerate it, it's a no skip. If it's an album where the whole album can ride, none that you don't not care about, still, you know. So I would give her album maybe an 8 out of 10, 9, 8.5, somewhere around there. She passed the test for me. Now, will it be as good as the first album? As far as now, record sales, probably not, but listening wise, age wise, yeah, there's some bangers on that one. First of all, let's talk about it. Because I gotta talk about John, JT, and Bia. That girl called her Diary of Bia. She said, name 5 Bia songs quick or you're out of here. And I was out of here. I'm out of here. I only know 1 song. What else is being made for real? A whole lot of money in I don't know Diary of Bia. But she didn't spare her. She did not spare JT. I want y'all to know, everybody been talking about what she said about Uzi. That's neither here nor there. She called her Brenda's a baby ass bitch. She really told this girl that her mama didn't want her. And I felt like, did Cardi know something that we didn't? It was really personal. Is that true? I don't know enough about JT. Has she said that in the interviews that her mama didn't want her? Is that real? It's fucked. That's fucked up, ain't it? It's so fucked up. Um, girl. Mm, 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 mm. You know, I'm sorry, I'm reading text messages. It's just a lot going on in the world, you know. Um, but the album is really worth the stream. Go listen to it. Support her and her fucking upcoming 4 kids and her 2 baby daddies. I gotta make a joke. It's no, like I said, it's no shade to her having 2 baby daddies. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I just think it's too fast. I think it's not reproductively responsible, being that she's still married to somebody who's really a toxic leech. You could not have healed enough for you to go and have another baby and bring it into another unfavorable situation. Don't give a fuck how many millions of dollars you have in the bank. It takes a lot more to raise a child than money. And when you are mentally, emotionally, and spiritually depleted because you're in a relationship with a fuck nigga, and then you go and you get pregnant by your rebound, who is also a semi type of fuck nigga, you are setting the stage for a bad situation that I pray does not happen. Anyway, moving on, we're gonna buy a couple things and then we're gonna get off. Y'all, I'm so tired of I don't try my best not to talk about politics because one of the stupidest things in the world is politics to me, and it always has been. And even when I was a young person, I hated politics and I thought it was fucking pointless, even though of course, it was a point because we created it, but it was pointless because I didn't feel like, as someone who is self-sovereign, that there needs to be this huge entity trying to control everything and then pretending that it doesn't. They do control everything and they will pull that card at any time they want. Hence, them counseling all of these late night shows. Granted, Jimmy Kimmel came back. He came back last night. As I record this, it is I'm about to say November, Jesus. It's September 24th. He came back last night. And I want to read some things that I took from his monologue to make a point about. He said, this is from the FCC. So I want y'all to understand the FCC are the ones who control what comes on TV, the censorship and all of that. It's not even, they're not even supposed to censor your opinion, right? Because that's what free speech is, just your opinion. They're supposed to just censor your being inappropriate because there are certain guidelines not even online, well, online too, but we ain't talking about online. There's certain guidelines you have to follow when you're on TV. Of course, we should know that, right? And that's what the FCC controls. So the chairman said, these companies can find ways to change, conduct, and take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. So basically the FCC was giving permission for them to basically do whatever they wanted to Jimmy Kimmel, right? Or it's going to be more work for them to put out the fire. The same chairman 3 years ago, actually, said President Biden is right. I'm quoting, political satire is one of the oldest and most important forms of free speech. It challenges those in power while using humor to draw more people into the discussion. That's why people in influential positions have always targeted it for censorship. Let's say this last line again. That's why people in influential positions have always targeted it for censorship. He was paid off. And this is the thing about politics. It doesn't matter if you're red or white. I mean, red or black. Oh my God, red or blue, Jesus. It doesn't matter if you're white or black. It matters what's occurring and who's getting it. Democrats, Republicans can all be paid off. They can all be bought. That's the whole point of politics. You pay your way in. This is why it's so confusing when it comes to Donald Trump, because Donald Trump, I won't say he's always been red. I don't think there was a point I feel like he was more neutral. Yeah, he might have swayed a little bit more one way or the other, typically red, but he was not how he is now. He was paid off to be this way. And you better believe it. You best believe he was paid to be this way. Because these people don't want to be the face of their message. They just want to fund it. Because they know that the mascots are the ones who get hung on the cross, much like Jesus is a mascot for Christianity. He really means nothing to these people. But it's the same thing. Trump is the mascot right now, especially for the Republican Party. Even though a lot of them are not fucking with him because of how he's moving, he is still what they represent. And they want to deny that to themselves because they think that they're really good people. You cannot, right now it's past politics. Okay? It is past fucking politics at this point. It is motherfucking morals. It's a moral. It's a cause. It's a compass that's missing when it comes to these people's morality. You want to take things from people. You want to take away people's ability to have an opinion. You want to take away people's ability to even retire themselves. You want to take away people's ability to feed themselves, to even get medical care. You want to just take. And what they're doing is they're positioning it so they're taking and hoarding. I knew that wealth hoarding was a thing, but it is now that the blinders are completely fucking off, where we can see where these people are really hoarding wealth. We live in a society where we traded the value of your labor for a dollar amount, right? Not even set by you. You didn't even set the dollar amount of your labor. I mean, you could if you had a business of your own, but even still, depending on, it might take a while for you to get that dollar amount because everything got to go back into the business. See, it's a suffering either way. But they set a dollar amount on the value of your labor. And they only gave you a certain amount of time that you can work to get to that dollar amount, right? And they gave you a cap on how much you can make. That's 90% of businesses. Now, unless you're in sales, where there's really no cap, they still control a lot of it. But there's a little bit more, leeway. It's not as stringent. But everywhere else you work, you're capped. Unless you own your own business, you have to abide by what they say your value is. And the people who can control the value that they make themselves are the ones who exploit the labor. You can't even get out of it. Even if you are a business owner and you're an amazing business owner, you still set a value of somebody else's work. I've done it before too. I've had people work for me. And I set the value, right? Because I tell them, hey, there is not I work with you when it comes to me hiring on a contractor. It's, hey, look, I can only afford to pay you this. I know what your contract is, but this is what I can afford. Or if I'm the one who's searching, meaning that I'm conducting interviews and people are applying to the job. Same concept. So these people, the bottom line is always money. And it's deeper than red or blue, black or white. It's about the green. And they always allow the green to get in between. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is how these motherfuckers are starting to think that Tylenol is giving children autism. So Tylenol giving them autism, but not any of the vaccines. And I'm not here to say I believe either one, but I find that strange. We think it's Tylenol. I haven't done enough research, but I had to leave on that these motherfuckers think it's Tylenol. Go do the research. That's all I gotta say. I love you guys. It's been real. I think I talked enough about everything. Again, just to recap, I am probably gonna be very non-responsive when it comes to all my other social medias for a little minute. I am gonna consistently post on YouTube because I'm about to mass produce some content. So everything will be scheduled. Yay! Hopefully, I can at least get to a rhythm once I find my footing in my new schedule in the next couple of weeks where I can get back to consistently posting on all my other socials. So if you see this and you watch all the way through, you a real one. Drop a like, drop a comment, and I love you. Have a great rest of the rest of your life. Have a great one.